Hey, what's going on, guys? Just want to talk about the NCAA tournament coming up. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about this past weekend. It was a great weekend for college basketball, a lot of great games. You had the Big East tournament, which took place. You actually had West Virginia advancing and winning the whole thing over Georgetown in the finals. Deshaun Butler played great uh, this whole tournament. He hit the game-winning shot against Cincinnati right in Lance Stephenson's face, which pretty much sealed their chances of getting into the NCAA tournament, which is a shame because I think if Lance Stevenson got in with Cincinnati, I thought maybe they could have done something. But all right, so West Virginia advanced over Georgetown in the finals. Like I said, Deshaun Butler, multiple game-winning shots in this tournament, played great. West Virginia proved they're a really good defensive team. So um, ACC tournament, you had Duke winning the whole thing. Not really a surprise. Miami, I thought the Miami Duke game was really good. You had Durant, Scott, and Malcolm Grant. Two kids that pretty much by themselves almost won that game. But look out for Durant Scott, great basketball player from Rice High School. I've seen him play, and great defensive player. The Southeast Conference tournament, you actually had Kentucky defeating Mississippi State, which was a phenomenal game. It went into overtime. The finish going into overtime was awesome. With the DeMarcus Cousins putback, barely got that shot off. That was amazing. John Wall played great in overtime. So, but Mississippi State, they kind of got screwed. I mean, they definitely should have got in if they're not going to get in. So that's kind of unfortunate. All right, let's get right down to the NCAA tournament. Let's start with the West region. The West, I'm going to have to go with Syracuse advancing to the Sweet 16. And out of all the other teams, I think UTEP is going to face Syracuse in the Sweet 16. UTEP has a really good player that a lot of people forget. He was actually a transfer from Louisville. His name is Derek Carpenter. And that should be a pretty good game. But I think Syracuse will advance to the finals. So the rest of the West region, I think Xavier is going to advance over Pittsburgh to make it to the Sweet 16. Xavier's supposed to be pretty good. Haven't seen a lot of them, but out of all the A10 teams, they're supposed to be one of the better teams, and supposed to be a really good defensive team. So look out for them. And I think they'll play Kansas State. Kansas State's supposed to be awesome. I saw Kansas State play against Kansas. They gave them a good run for their money. So I'm going to go with Syracuse facing Kansas State, which should be a really good game. A lot of people were actually picking Kansas State. But I'll still go with Syracuse, even though Syracuse is kind of overrated. They did lose to Georgetown in the first round of the Big East tournament, but I think Syracuse has a lot of potential that people don't even know about. They got a great freshman in Brandon Trish, who I've seen play in high school, so I think he's great. They got some guys that are injured right now, like Anawaku, but if they could get healthy, I think Syracuse would probably beat Kansas State, but that should be pretty much a toss-up. All right, let's go right to the Midwest region. You have obviously, I think Kansas is going to advance all the way to the Sweet 16. They'll probably play Michigan State. Michigan State played great last year. Obviously, if you remember, Kalen Lucas actually led them to the championship game. I think Kalen Lucas is kind of hurt this year. I've seen him have a couple injury problems. So I'm not sure if they're really the same team that they were last year. So Kansas easily makes it to the finals there. I'm going to have to go with Georgetown advancing all the way to the Sweet 16 to play Ohio State. Now, Ohio State has a kid that's pretty good. I haven't seen a lot of him. I've seen some highlights this past weekend. His name is Evan Turner. Supposedly, he's supposed to be in contention for the Player of the Year with John Wall. But they're going to play Georgetown. I think Georgetown is obviously they had a really good showing in the Big East tournament. They have a great big man in Greg Monroe. I've seen him play. Very good passer for a big man. Can run the floor pretty well, and I think Georgetown is pretty much stacked with a lot of good guards as well. So I'm going to go with Georgetown and Kansas. Obviously, I think Kansas will probably take that. Kansas is supposedly, obviously, I've seen them play, so they're just pretty much stacked at every single position. But I'll talk more about Kansas later. A lot of people are pretty high on Kansas. So next up, we'll go with the East region. Obviously, I'm going to go with Kentucky advancing all the way to the finals. I think Kentucky will probably play Wisconsin in the Sweet 16. And then I'm going to go with Marquette advancing to play West Virginia in the Sweet 16. Obviously, West Virginia pretty much dominated the Big East. Well, not dominated, but they won the Big East tournament. Marquette's a Big East team, so I think they will pretty easily defeat Marquette in the Sweet 16. So we'll get West Virginia versus Kentucky in the finals of the East region, which should be a phenomenal game. Really looking forward to that. That should be really good. West Virginia is supposed to be they are a great defensive team, and But I just think Kentucky's too strong, so I'll go with Kentucky there. And this final region, the South region, I'm going to go with Duke to face Louisville in the second round, which would be a pretty good game, but I think Duke will advance. I don't think Louisville is as strong as they were last year. They still have Edgar Sosa and a bunch of other guys, but just not nowhere near the same team that they were last year. I'm going to have to go with Siena. Actually, Siena, the one team that everyone's saying to look out for is Siena. I really don't know. I mean, I've seen one of their kids play. I saw one kid that they recruited playing in high school, but I'm not even sure if he's getting playing time. But yeah, Siena, I think they'll probably face Duke. Duke should probably easily win that game in the Sweet 16 to advance. And then the other team to look out for is Old Dominion. Old Dominion won their conference tournament, and supposedly they're really, really good. They have a great player. So I'm going to go Old Dominion advancing all the way to the Sweet 16 to play Villanova. Uh, so obviously, I think Villanova. We've seen them play last year. They advanced. I believe they made it to the Final Four. They got Scotty Reynolds and Corey Fisher, two really, really good guards that are really tough to defend. So Duke will play Villanova. This should be a great game. Duke. I like Duke. They have a lot of skinny white kids that can shoot the ball. I mean, that's pretty much what everyone classifies them as nowadays. Singler and Shire. Two kids that can really shoot the hell out of the basketball. But I just don't think this team is good enough to stop Villanova's guards. I think Villanova's just too fast and too strong for them. So I'm going to go with Villanova advancing. So let's get right down to the Final Four. We get Kentucky versus Villanova, which should be an excellent game. But I think Kentucky is just a little bit more well-rounded. They got They got bigger freshmen that are more talented. DeMarcus Cousins and Daniel Orton, and then John Wall's more talented than both of their guards. So I'm going to go with Kentucky there. Kansas and Syracuse, easily Kansas. I think Kansas is just, very dominant at every single position. They got great guards. They got a great freshman, Xavier, I think Xavier Henry from Oklahoma. This kid, really, really highly recruited out of high school. He was supposed to play for John Calipari, but because of what happened, he ended up going to Kansas. And he's supposed to be great. Obviously, Sharon Collins is excellent. And they got big men. So, yeah, they're stacked at every position. Everyone likes Kansas to win this whole thing. But I'm going to have to go with Kentucky still. I'm very high on John Wall, and I like Calipari's mentality. And I think DeMarcus Cousins is great for his age. And I still like Kentucky, but it should be a phenomenal game. Kansas versus Kentucky in the finals. I'm going to go with Kentucky, but everyone's picking Kansas. So that's pretty much it. I'm running out of time, but let me know who you guys are picking. And that's pretty much it. All right.